Welcome back to the Morning Blend. You know, a lot of us are having to celebrate major milestones like birthdays and graduations a little differently this year. Maybe not with all of our family and friends. But one thing you don't have to give up: delicious cake. And here to talk about her delicious cakes, my next guest, Rachel Gelbmann. She is the owner and baker at Grateful Bakes. Rachel, thank you for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So I know I can see that you do all your baking in your kitchen. Tell me a little bit about your business and what made you get into baking in the first place.
Yeah, sure. So I started because I just have a passion for food and cooking and baking in general. And I'm always pre-COVID hosting parties and having friends over for dinner parties and that kind of thing. And people were always asking, well, where can we get your cakes? When are you going to start selling them? So I just on a whim started selling them to friends and family, and then it became friends of friends and kind of grew with word of mouth from there. So I've been really lucky and had a lot of support from our local community, and it's kind of spread like wildfire. So I'm really glad to be able to be part of people's special occasions.
Wow, your cakes are beautiful. They're almost like works of art. Do you enjoy decorating them or baking them more?
For me, it's a little bit of both. I absolutely love the flavor part and coming up with a great recipe, tweaking it till I'm really satisfied with it. And of course, all my friends and neighbors love that part too, because they get to be my taste testers. And decorating kind of came second for me. I had to really learn to hone that skill, and it's been a lot of fun. There's always new things to learn.
Yeah, and there's no doubt your cakes are beautiful, but they taste good as well. And the proof, you are a two-time winner of the Great St. Pete Cupcake Contest. I believe in 2018, 2019. So what's your secret? What makes your dessert taste so good?
Well, it's trial and error. I started really young when I was a little kid working in my aunt and grandmother's kitchens, and they were both European immigrants. And so they used a lot less sugar than your traditional American bakers. So, I avoid American buttercream and I go for a Swiss meringue as my buttercream of choice. You can see this cake I'm working on here and how shiny that finishes on a Swiss meringue buttercream. And the taste is just so much better too. So for me, it's a preference thing, but a lot of folks do prefer that super sweet American buttercream, but I find my clients really enjoy this.
Yeah, and I think I read that you make your own vanilla extract. So you really go the extra mile to make it homemade.
I do. Yeah, everything that goes in the cake is homemade for the most part. So any fillings, any fruit fillings, any fudge sauce that I'm using in the fillings or on top of the cake is all going to be homemade.
And I know that giving back is very important to you when you're not in your kitchen baking, you're volunteering. And recently, over the July 4th holiday, you held a special fundraiser. Tell me more about that and who you were able to help.
Yeah, in response to all the everything that's going on in our country with Black Lives Matter and bringing racism to the forefront of the conversation in this country, there was a movement online called #Bakers Against Racism. And they actually did a great thing, and bakers all over the country raised money for different charities. And they did that on the week of Juneteenth, which was June 19th. I unfortunately was unable to participate, but we still wanted to participate and give back. So we held a 4th of July fundraiser, and everything that we made over 4th of July week went to a donation that went to the Equal Justice Initiative. So we were able to donate $2,000 to them.
And I can tell that there is a lot of love that goes into your cakes. They are beautiful and no doubt delicious. So it takes some time to make these cakes. So I can't just call you up and say, I need a cake tomorrow, right? How much time do you need to make one of those cakes?
Yeah, it usually takes a couple of days to put a cake together. If there are elaborate decorations, it can take a whole week to make all of those decorations. So I typically book up about 2 to 4 weeks in advance. You can go to my website, gratefulbakes.com, to get more information and see my menu. And of course, you can call or text or email me to place an order or ask about more information.
Now, so are you saying that you had no formal training, that this was just all just trial and error, or did you actually take some classes on baking?
No, I've never had any formal training in baking or cooking or decorating. So it's all been trial and error. I've learned from some great teachers. When people say they're self-taught, I find there's usually somebody behind the scenes that has helped them out along their journey. For me, that was certainly my mom, my grandmothers, my aunt. And I was able to work in a small bakery when I was growing up in Cleveland. One of my first jobs was working for a little Italian bakery. So I learned a lot there as well. And I think, for me, it's about practice, practice, practice and getting better.
Yeah, and so I see some wedding cakes there, obviously some birthdays, but as you know, there aren't a lot of weddings happening right now. How has your business been affected by the pandemic and everything that's going on?
The first couple weeks and months were a little bit rough. I had a lot of cancellations or a lot of small, people scaled down their orders for smaller gatherings. But since the last couple of months, people have really started celebrating again, even if it's on a smaller scale. So I've been busier than ever making smaller orders and smaller cakes. People still want to celebrate.
That's wonderful. And let's tell people how to get your cakes one more time. They can email you or call you, and we'll have all that information for them on our website. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And stay with us. We'll be right back.